My naam is Zani and you are doing an Afrikaans lesson. Today we are looking at STOMPi. We are putting some groundwork in and recognizing how to use STOMPi by focusing on verb 1. Verb 1 for today is the main verb. I will be introducing you to STOMPi, giving you a bit more detail about it, showing the 3 categories of verbs that I use, and then focusing on main verbs. So if you can understand STOMPi, you can recognize the main verbs with the het and the s. You'll know what that is in a mo. You'll be able to build, or we're laying that foundation so you can build your sentence structure. Please note this is set in the present tense of STOMPi. We will in the future lessons look at past tense and future tense, but this is the foundation for STOMPi. Okay, so STOMPi is a way that Afrikaans people structure their sentences. We don't do it on purpose because obviously we're native speakers, but there's a sequence in how we say the words. So the subject is the subject of the sentence, who is doing what. This could be your pronoun, one word, he, she, hey, say, or it could be a few words. And I want you to notice with STOMPi, every part of STOMPi doesn't mean just one word. It can mean a few words. Like subject, die kinders, could be 2 words, the children. Die groot kar, the big car, that could be 3 words. So it could be a subject, a person, or could be a thing, which could be a few words. So that's subject. Then your verb 1. And that's something you can take home or try to do every time you make a sentence in Afrikaans. When you make a sentence, your second concept is always the verb. Unless you start the sentence with a verb, that second concept is a verb. So if you start the sentence with op die strand, on the beach, your next concept is a verb. Okay, so that second concept is always a verb, the second part of your second part of your sentence. Okay, so subject, verb 1, time. So this could be last week, tomorrow, at 2 p.m. This would be the time of when it's happening, linked to either past or present tense. The object is obviously the object of the sentence, could be a noun or object pronoun. The manner is how it is done, mostly an adverb. The place is obviously the place, and that's linked to a preposition as well, on, under, and other prepositions. And then verb 2, which is linked to when you're using helping verbs or compound verbs, and then the infinitive. Don't worry about the infinitive yet. You need the consolidation of the STOMPi first before you do the infinitive. English speaking people use the to, I'm drinking, to feel better, to a lot, but it doesn't directly translate into Afrikaans unless you know what happens before the infinitive. And this is where we're starting to build that foundation. Okay, so let me show you the 3 categories of verbs that I use. I use main verbs, helping verbs, and compound verbs. 2 short notes on helping verbs and compound verbs. Helping verbs, these are the only ones you need to know. There isn't a secret list of helping verbs, like 2,000 of them that will confuse you. These are the only helping verbs that you need to know. Compound verbs separate depending on the tense they're in. That could be confusing you. Future lesson will be on this. How do you recognize them? Is if they have a preposition. Most of them have a little preposition attached to the verb. Okay. Now the main verbs. So if you hear main verb, also think het and s. Main verb, het and s. Main verb. Okay. So the main verbs are easy verbs to remember. Eat, dance, sing, slaap. Eating, dancing, singing, sleeping. Those you can recognize at first glance, that's a verb. With het and s. Specifically highlighted here for present tense, because that's what this lesson is about. Het and s. So let's look at examples of the main verb. I'm just going to make myself a bit smaller. Okay, so there we go. Main verb, you have your STOMPi at the top there. Can you see I have omitted manner and infinitive? Don't worry about that yet. That will come with time. So subject, say, she, werk, works, elke dag, every day, op die rekenaar, on the computer, in die kantoor, in the office. So this sentence has S, verb 1, T, O, no M, P. Okay. For a sentence, you just need a subject and a verb to make it a sentence. If you don't have the rest of the sentence, you could just have sy werk, still a sentence. But obviously we want to make longer sentences. So sy werk elke dag op die kantoor, op die rekenaar in die kantoor. This is a full Stumpy sentence. Main verb, rest of the sentence. There isn't a verb to here because you have your main verb. The verb to will only be relevant for past tense and future tense. That's when you'll be using the het with the ge verb and the sal for future tense. So I'm just putting that here so you can have that as a placeholder. This is your Stumpy for the main verb. Now let's look at het and is. Okay, so het. So if you're thinking of het, and if you've used het a lot, you're thinking, well, this must be past tense. No. Het in the present tense means have or has. This is not linked specifically only to past tense. Het has its own meaning. I have a book. Ek het a book. This guy, my example sentence, hy het 'n besigheid in Kaapstad. He has a business in Cape Town. That this is just something you have, so it's part of the main verb category. You're using it as a main verb. There's no verb to. Hy het 'n besigheid in Kaapstad. Sy het 'n boek in haar hand. She has a book in her hand. That's it. This het is very easy. It just means have or has. So you now have two meanings for het. Het is has or have. I have a book. Ek het a book. Or the het that's linked to a ge verb in past tense. And that would be in a future lesson. Now let's look at is. Is nice. Is just connected to two things. Either a feeling or an occupation. This is what the person is feeling or what this person is or does for a living. Don't confuse it with the English is, where you also add another verb. She is singing. We don't do that in Afrikaans. We just go sy sing. We don't go she is singing. We don't have that continuous part with the is. So he is running. We don't have hy is hardloop. Hy hardloop, main verb. Is linked to a feeling and an occupation. So let me give you one example. Die kinders, the children, is baie gelukkig, very happy in die tuin, in the garden. The children are very happy in the garden. Is, that's linked to a feeling, very happy, your abstract noun. Insert love, insert all the connections to feelings that you have there. And then the next sentence, my man, my husband, strange translation there, but that's what it is. My man is 'n onderwyser, a teacher in a school. I don't know where else you could be a teacher, but yeah, he's a teacher in the school. So my man is 'n onderwyser, sy profession. A waitress, a kelnerin. My niggie, my niece, is a kelnerin, a waitress in a cafe, in a café. So can you see the link now? So let's go back to the list of verbs. Sorry, two more examples there. You've got Stumpy, and we've looked at the main verbs. So what you should be able to do today is, look at Stumpy, subject, verb, time, object, manner, place, verb to infinitives. Know what they stand for. You should be able, with verb 1, know that you've got main verbs and... Okay, main verbs are easy to identify. Like over here on the right hand side, eat, dance, sing and slaap, with hetenis. That is what if that's what you can do for today, that's fine. I'm going to put a link below. If you'd like to expand more or have a lesson with me, you can email afrikaanslesson@gmail.com. You can click on the link to create an appointment with me and send me a sentence. What sentence can you make? And I'm going to go back to this list of main verbs. If you're not sure about an object in a place set, just use the pronoun a subject and a main verb. You can do it. Jy kan dit doen. So ek is Annie. You have done an Afrikaans lesson and see you soon. Lekker dag. Bye.